Hi everyone, today we are going to be talking about IT band friction syndrome, or IT band syndrome as some may call it, and how it is diagnosed. So when you come in to see your doc with some lateral knee pain, so any pain that's on the outside of our knee here, first things first, we need to take a history. So we need to ask you a bunch of questions. First, we're going to kind of cover what activities are you doing. So a lot of people that can have IT band friction syndrome, we see that in a lot of repetitive flexion and extension of the knee. So we see that with a lot with our cyclists and our runners. But we also see that, soccer, lacrosse, hockey, our military recruits that have that big increase in activity, especially when we start basic training. So any quick increase in activity and a lot of that repetitive motion through here can have a lot of tension through that IT band. We also want to see, is there any clicking or popping on the outside of your knee? So after we get our history, then we start to think, what structures do we need to rule out here? So on the outside of our knee, we have hamstrings that run through here and attach. We have quads that run through and attach on the outside of our knee here. We also have our lateral meniscus that we need to rule out, as well as our lateral collateral ligament, or LCL, that some may call it here. So once we rule out those structures, or keep that in mind, now we go to our testing to rule those out and see if we can test for IT band friction syndrome. So what we need to do first, I'm going to have my patient go ahead and stand up. So we're first just going to observe. So is our patient knock-kneed or bow-legged, or do they hyperextend their knees too when they're standing? Anything that might put more tension on that IT band running through here. So next thing we're going to do, we need to test strength of our surrounding structures kind of in our hip that might be affecting that IT band. So what I'm going to have you do first, you're going to stand on one leg, lift up one. Good. All right. So what we're looking for here, as she raises that leg up, if she drops her hips to the side here, we can see that maybe, her glutes might be weak, and that might be affecting our IT band there. So next thing I'm going to have you do is lay on your left side facing here. Good. So now we are going to check just some extra strength here. I'm going to have her lift straight up, meet my resistance here. Great job. So if she had any weakness, it'd be a lot easier for me to go ahead and just push her down. Next thing I'm going to have you do is lift up, come forward, and here. Hold this position here and don't let me push you down. Awesome. So our model, Caitlin, has great strength here. All right. Last thing I want to do in this position, I'm going to have you scoot a little bit closer to me. So this one I'm going to be testing kind of that length or tension of her IT band. So I'm going to lift her leg up and bring it back towards me, and we're going to slowly lower her. And then I'm eventually going to let go. So as you can see, her leg starts to drop down and even go past the table. So that shows me that she has good length here through her IT band. It's not super tight. If I were to let her go about here and her leg stays here, then we're thinking there's a lot more tension there, and that's keeping her leg up. So last couple things I want to run through. Go ahead and lay on your back for me. Great. So this one is going to address some of that clicking and popping complaints that we see on the outside of our knee. So I'm going to lift her leg up, apply some pressure here on the outside of her lower femur. And so as I roll up and down here, going from flexion to extension, if I'm hearing or feeling that clicking and popping over that area I'm applying pressure to, that can be a positive indicator for IT band friction syndrome. Last test, go ahead and stand up. Awesome. I'm going to bend down here. You can put your hand on my shoulder. You're going to stand on this leg. Perfect. And go ahead and bend a little bit for me and raise back up. Awesome. So I'm applying that pressure against the outside of her knee, feeling for any of that clicking and popping and reproducing of pain. So these are just a couple things to help us test for IT band friction syndrome. Hope this was helpful.